What are some mistakes that salespeople do that tend to happen over and over again because they don't see it themselves, or that it is something that salespeople do because it's the way they have been taught? Welcome to Steady Improvement, the place where you level up your sales skills and achieve your sales goals. In today's episode, we're going to talk about some common mistakes that salespeople do, and from our own experience, what we think you should be avoiding in order to be a better salesperson and to be able to close more deals and have more long-term relationships with your customers. All right, let's go and let's dive into it. So number one would be, are too much of in a hurry. Sometimes salespeople that have a lot to do tend to rush things through because they don't have so much time. But to get a feeling as a customer that you are not taking the time that they need and get the feeling that things are rushed through is a big mistake. The trust will vanish quite fast and they start to understand that you don't prioritize to take the time at this particular customer might need because you would rather be somewhere else. Next one would be, have prepared a script for what you should be saying. It is nice to have some kind of bullet list in your head of what you would like to go through, but if you have trained and memorized the whole presentation in your head, it can be sometimes get a feeling of a script and more like a robot-like when you're talking to them, which makes it a lot harder to build a connection. This was something that we did in the beginning, but with time, we focused more on finding a connection with our customer than nailing exactly the things we would like to memorize to say, and it worked like magic. Next one is, aren't prepared enough. This is a big one in today's society where distractions are a big problem and very time consuming. But we would like to emphasize that sometimes you just have to prepare the fundamentals in order to get a sale. But if you don't even have the time to do that, then the customer might have the feeling that you really don't know what you're talking about. Another one is, are talking too much instead of listening. This is also something that we as salespeople tend to do too much of for different reasons. Sometimes it can be because we really would like to persuade the customer to buy, and sometimes it can be that we are too excited. But what you must start developing is a mental principle that you should not be talking more than the customer. And we must start asking the right question instead, which in return will make them talk. You will with time develop like a sixth sense regarding when you're talking too much, and you will get the signal from the customer if you know what to look for. Sometimes you start to get the feeling that they are just nodding and almost half listening. You get the feeling that they're starting to bubbling away in the thoughts. What we usually do then when we get this kind of feeling is that we then quite fast start to ask them a lot of questions, which make them engaged and being back in the conversation. So from time to time, you have to put in a question or two in order to get them engaged along the way. Another one is, fail to meet expectations because you build them up too much. This is also a big mistake that we as salespeople tend to do when we're too desperate to make a sale, and it will backfire. It's just a matter of time, and if you want to have the long-term success as a salesperson, which I guess all of you would like to have, you can't operate in this kind of way. Last one for today is, make up an answer to a question you don't know. This is something that we have been guilty of doing when we were new at sales. We might have gotten a difficult question that we wanted to give an answer to in order to give the vibe of extreme confidence. But this will also backfire because you aren't honest, and most of the time you build trust by saying that you don't know it, but you will take the time and look up the answer to that particular question. This is the better way to do than just bringing along a fake answer that the customer really going to know by your body language. Many of you are starting to spread this podcast to your friends and colleagues, and it would mean the world to us if you also would like to be one of them. It takes 5 to 10 seconds of your time, and it may change the world to someone else. Until next time, peace.